Good evening, good morning, world. It's Ivan the Mayor. I just woke up. I had very little sleep. I only slept for like an hour and a half or so. Very little sleep, obviously. As I told you, it's very, very tough to sleep when VJ is constantly crying every night. So that's why I haven't been getting much sleep the past couple of months, obviously. Hope you guys enjoyed my last video when I talked about my book. Oh my god, Ivan, your book looks interesting. Yeah. And that's why I told you my book, Last of Us will be what? The best fast novel ever written. It'll be the best movie trilogy ever made. Even better than Lord of the Rings. If it's done right, I'm going to be saying that. Because I know what I'm doing and I'm hiring the right people, Lord of the Rings crewmen, the right actors, Hollywood actors, paying them a lot of money, and I'm putting almost $1 billion towards it. I will get what? Technology much better than what I got for Lord of the Rings. A better movie than even Lord of the Rings. See what I'm saying? I guarantee you and Peter Jackson's like, oh my god, Ivan, you must have some balls to say your movie trilogy be better than either my Lord of the Rings trilogy. But no, man, once you read my book, Peter, when you watch this video later from now, you will finally see like, oh my god, Ivan's story of Redacted Vision will be better than Lord of the Rings. Yeah, man, look at the masterpiece I wrote, man. It'll be close. I'm not saying it'll be much better. No, it's very, very tough to top that Lord of the Rings trilogy. Because I'm acting it and I pour our money towards it, like it'll be a better movie. And Xanthus is a better story. Eric Tell himself, I can't see Lord of the Rings being that story, but it'll be close though. As Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece, but Xanthus will be a better movie, guaranteed. And you guys know I'm telling you, we can see for you can see for you already know how good my movie will be. You know if my movie will flop, which it will not flop obviously. You know if my movie will be a masterpiece. My movie will be a masterpiece. I know what I'm doing obviously. I'm gonna be prepped obviously. So I'm saying. As long as Peter Jackson co-writes it with me, he knows all the scenes. He takes his direct notes for every scene, obviously, and he knows the inside. Okay, Peter. For the young Takis, I'm thinking something like young Masai. Is it okay, Ivan? You tell him that the way he knows. You give him some good ideas, obviously. For when the Safians cross through the western Gilead Mountains, I'm thinking something like Prince of Egypt. When the mosquitoes bite them and jaws, I'm thinking something like King Kong. Tell him that the way he knows. He comes up with all he can add it on his notes. You can add it on his notes, obviously. That way he knows. You see what I'm saying? For the end of the war, I'm thinking something like Helm's Deep, except on a much more grander scale. Tell Peter Jackson that way he knows, and he has some good ideas. See what I'm saying? And you guys better, I know you guys are enjoying my marathons. You guys, look, man, the count, yeah, we know, yes. I'm going to be paying the fee most likely next year. I'm currently going over my book with my younger brother. He's going to be my editor for my book, obviously. He's tweaking up my grammar and like some sentence structures, fixing up my sentence structures, tweaking up a few stuff. It's the same story, just a few different tweaks, like 0.001% tweaks. It's still my DNA on a page. As he barely changed anything. It's my book, but he's tweaking up a few things. You know what I'm saying here? Obviously, it'll take me on. I'll be done going over I'm almost 200 pages into going over my book. I'll probably be done towards September, October. I'll be done going over my book, and after that, I'll have to go over it again. That's why I'm not going to be paying the fee until like 2023 or 2024, man. See what I'm saying? But once I get the grammar over with, my book's fully edited, I can all I have to do is just what? Get it formatted, I'm done, and it's ready to release on Lulu, man. And I have the keys, even though these keys piss me off. God gave me these keys, I can make my easy billions. I don't have to sell this to the gatekeepers. I'll make my billions for me and my wife, obviously. My nice $5 to $9 billion I'm gonna make. Most likely $9 billion I'm gonna make. $9 billion off my book sales. Hence the money that I use, I can easily I can now fulfill my dream. So even though I talk about skies, as you guys know, yeah, Ivan's dream is possible because he has the keys. Yes, my dream is possible because I have the keys. I wrote my own book, hence I can make my easy billions. Yeah, you guys know, yeah, you can make it easy billions. Yeah, I have the keys. But if I didn't have the keys, I'd be fucked, obviously. I wouldn't be. All these videos I've been making with my dreams wouldn't come true. Even if I sold out, they would most likely make my Zayn story, but Hollywood would have control over my movie. And Hollywood, because Hollywood doesn't have the keys like me, they would only put like a 300 million towards my movie. And it wouldn't even be. They'd probably have Airtime be a full-on CGO. If they would ruin, if Hollywood, I'm telling you now, if Hollywood touched my story, I guarantee you they'd ruin my fucking story, man. Even Peter Jackson would be like, yeah, Ivan, thank God you didn't sell us. Hollywood would have most likely ruined your story. Yes, Hollywood would have most likely ruined my fucking story. I guarantee you Hollywood would have changed a bunch of things in my story, man. Because that's how, in Hollywood, they don't, they what? They change a lot of things from the book, man. Hollywood, they change so many things, obviously. With my Star Scotches, I have total freedom. I have total freedom and control over my what. If Peter Jackson's hard, he doesn't have to worry about he no longer has to worry about the higher ups in the studio execs bothering him with do this, do that. I'm saying for his screenplay, all that stuff. He has total freedom, total control. He's a boss. Even though he was a boss of Lord of the Rings, he had to deal with the higher ups at Warner Bros. Whereas for me, the only two people the only studio execs he has is pretty much just me and my wife. And Peter Jackson's the boss, is exec, yeah. And so you're gonna see how much, I mean, it's so much better working for your company. I have my freedom, total creative freedom. Whereas in Hollywood, even though directors have a lot of power, they don't have total creative freedom. Chances are the studios have a lot of say in the screenplay and what they want to do. Yeah, because that's how it works in Hollywood, obviously. Even though Peter Jackson wrote the screenplay, I guarantee you the execs had a lot of input in what they want to happen. Okay, Peter, cut this, cut that. You know what I'm saying, Peter had power, but he had to follow the executive orders and all stuff. Whereas for my company, he gets his full power as a director. You know what I'm saying, the only studio exec, me and my wife are pretty much the studio of the company, and like my two co-executive producers, we're the fucking studio, yeah. With a studio, at the same time, we're also what the stars of the movie, obviously, which is cool. I told you that's where I get that idea of Batman. Batman, even though he wears the cape, obviously, he's also the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. And he's a CEO. He's a billionaire, multi-billionaire. See what I'm saying here? That's where they get some symbolism about me. Just like, yeah, I, the VJ, the CEOs of Sky Society, at the same time, they're also what? They CEOs of Sky, so they sign all the contracts. You know, and they co-write all the script. At the same time, they're also the stars of their movie. Yeah, they're in character in the movies. And movie stars. At the same time, they're also CEOs of the company. I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty fucking cool. You hear the noise? I'm eating gummies right now. I went to the store and I bought like 2 Mountain Dews, a pack of smokes, and I got like 2 gummies. So $20. Went to the gas station, right? Yeah. Yeah, man. Hence why Peter Jackson will have a blast working for me, or Mel Gibson, right? Whoever I choose, right? Hence why me, my wife, Peter Jackson, are going to have a blast, right, for the Last of Us movie project. Yeah, man. We also paid Peter a nice $83 million. So $75 million for the movie and $8 million bonus after production. His bonus I'll pay through the leftover money I have in the salary budget. I'll have a good like 12-15 million left over. I'll take $8 million of that money and pay Peter Jackson his $8 million bonus. And I'll pay all members of my 17 $250,000 to $150,000. And when I'm on the total, I'll pay him his nice $2,000 bonus too, which is nice. So Peter Jackson will be making like, I don't know, rich $108 million for my movie in his New Zealand money, which is 55 million in your bank after taxes and your agents. I should be walking with a nice paycheck, man. Hence why Peter Jackson will work his ass off for me, because he's getting it. I'm paying more than even what he made for Lord of the Rings for her salary. I heard he made a lot of money off the profits, like almost like 200 million, 180 million, something like that. But for his salary, they only pay him $10 million, and Peter still worked his ass off, obviously, and they didn't spoil him the way I'm spoiling him, and yet he worked his ass off, and to work even double harder for me. Because I'm paying him a lot of money, $100 million in New Zealand money. And I'm giving him all these nice perks, like limo drivers taking him every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a buffet. He's staying in a nice hotel. He's part of the ad shoots. Working in a luxury environment. As working in a luxury office is a nice perk, man. Peter Jackson will be involved in what? He'll also help me sign the contracts the first year. The people who have seen the extras, I want him to help me with all that. Hey, Peter, you know what I'm saying? I produce me. Yes, I need you helping me sign the people who have seen the extras. Who worked more. I know all those guys. He can help you out. Peter Jackson knows all the Lord of the Rings people. Obviously. He worked on Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. A lot of Lord of the Rings people also work on The Hobbit too. As he knows all those guys, right? He knows a lot of those guys. That's why he's really, really good for saying this. Whereas Mel Gibson doesn't know Lord of the Rings people, but even then he can still connect with them, obviously. Mel Gibson doesn't know those Lord of the Rings people, whereas Peter Jackson knows all those guys. Because they work with him on Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. These ramen are so good. You guys know the sour ribbons? Maybe you know those are the sweet sour ribbons, the sweet 16 sour ribbons. They're really, really good, man. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's how what? Top month of a life, me and BJ and Peter Jackson live. There's a high chance, even though if somebody tells I'm going to choose Mel Gibson, there's a higher chance I'm probably going to choose Peter Jackson. Because Peter Jackson created that masterpiece, Lord of the Rings. Obviously, and he knows all Lord of the Rings crewmen. He also directed King Kong, and he's good for the scenes in the mountains and stuff. At the same time, Mel Gibson directed Lord of the Rings, Passion of Christ. That's why he's really, really good for what? He's really, really good for. That's why it's really tough. I'm gonna have to have those two guys fight for the role, man. Because something tells me I want to choose Mel Gibson. At the same time, something tells me I want to choose Peter Jackson. Okay. You're gonna see how hard Peter Jackson and Mel Gibson are gonna fight for that role. We're looking at something crazy, man. Because they all want that directing job so bad, man. They want that directing job so bad, man. Crazy. I don't know. That's why they're really gonna have to fight for that job. And Mel Gibson, I'll pay him like 54 million. I'm paying him a bit less because Mel Gibson's only worth. Mel Gibson used to be like a billionaire, but I heard he lost. His net worth came down because his land property worth. Because I heard Mel Gibson owns a lot of land. I think his land property worth went down or something like that. He used to be worth like almost $1 billion, Mel Gibson. Then his net worth went down. He's only worth like 400 million right now. If he was worth 800 million, I would pay him around that 70 million bucks. Obviously, but because he's only worth 400 million, I'll pay him a rich side, but I'm not paying him as much as Peter Jackson because he's not as big as Peter Jackson, obviously. But he's still big though. He's worth like $400 million. He's big, and that's why I'm willing to pay him a nice like $54 million, and I'll have him be the executive producer, the boss of my movie too. He will co-write the script with me, do the contracts with me, and take his directing notes. And I'll tell him, look, man, I recommend if Mel Gibson's hired, I'm gonna tell him, look, man, I recommend you hire the assistant director who helped you on Passion of Christ to help you for Last of Zanes if he's hired. Tell Mel Gibson that. That way he knows. And now he knows. Ivan, you choose Peter Jackson? No, it doesn't. Just because I'm mentioning Peter, I'm playing devil as I'm being hypothetical here. Assuming I hire Peter Jackson, you see what I'm saying? There's a high chance I might be hiring Mel Gibson. I had this talk. Those two guys fight for the role. I'm like VJ, who do you think is good for the job? And I'm like, oh man, I don't know, man. Like Peter Jackson did Lord of the Rings. He knows all the Lord of the Rings crewmen. Obviously, he did the best movies ever made. But Mel Gibson is a man of faith. He's a Christian. You know what I'm saying? And he you know what I'm saying? And he's good for that horror stuff. He did Passion of the Christ. Passion of the Christ, you have the demons who hate Jesus. Jesus gets killed. Devil. Mel Gibson will have a lot of good ideas for the cursed South, the demons, for war. Because Mel Gibson knows how to do really, really good war scenes, man. Same as Peter Jackson too. They both know how to do great war scenes. Hence why it's a tough choice, man. I'm gonna have to have those two guys fight for their own. Who gonna choose? I don't know, man. The two directors already know who's chosen. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know. You guys already know if I'm going to choose Mel Gibson. You know if I'm going to choose Peter Jackson. You can see the future. I don't know who I'm choosing. But Peter Jackson, Mel Gibson, even though you guys are going to fight for the role, you already know who's chosen. I have the keys. You can see the future, obviously. You guys know. I don't know who choosing. I don't know. It's a tough choice, man. Because even though I'm leaning towards Peter Jackson, something tells me Mel Gibson's the right man. Because he's a man of faith. He's a Christian. He did Passion of the Christ. You have the demons, the devil, Jesus. Hence, you have so many good ideas for Aratat, the Cursed South, the Devil Answers the South, the story of young Tactius, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of good ideas for your movie. You know what I'm saying? Hence why what? Somebody tells me Mel Gibson's right man of the job, man. But somebody tells me also Peter Jackson right man of the job too. It's tough, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who I'll be choosing, man. Because even though I want to choose Peter Jackson, something tells me Mel Gibson's the right man too. So hence they're gonna have to fight for that job, man. I don't know who I'm gonna choose, man. I really don't. Yeah, man. And make sure you pay those two directors a lot of money. The way they work. If you pay them if I paid Mel Gibson and Peter Jackson would not accept a directing job for $25 million. He's too big. He's like, yeah, Ivan, I'm not accepting that money. That's too small. Was $100 million he'll accept. Obviously, that's a lot of money. As he doesn't even make that in Hollywood. For most of his movies, he probably makes like $25-30 million per movie. And unless he gets a piece of the profits, he'll make a lot of money, obviously. But if as a salary, he probably gets like $25-30 million in Hollywood on average, right? So me paying him $108 million, $83 million is in Canadian, $108 million, whatever it is, in New Zealand dollars, a nice paycheck. Somewhere though, you're being, you don't agree, you're being very generous. Yes, I'm paying you $100 million in your New Zealand money, which is a lot of money. I'm not going hard on that. That's good enough. If you don't like it, go back to Hollywood, go back to Being No Saver. I don't like my offer, man. Let's say if I hire Peter Jackson, he's really, really greedy, doesn't accept my deal, I'll just call I'll call Mel Gibson up and I'll hire him instead. Let's say if I hire Mel Gibson, he's fucking greedy. He doesn't want the money, then I'll hire Peter Jackson. But you know what I'm saying? But both those guys will accept my deal. As most of those guys don't even make that in Hollywood. As most directors on average make like 10, 15, 20 million in Hollywood. They don't get. It's very rare that a director gets $50 million in Hollywood. No, man. They get like 10, 5, 3, 20 million. I'm saying even the big ones on average get like 15 million a movie around there. And if they're lucky, they can get a piece of the pie, piece of the royalties. Because Hollywood's cheap, man. Hollywood's cheap to my company, man. There's the rarity where they get some can make a lot of money, but it's rare. It's a rare case, man. In most cases, most people in Hollywood get pretty shitty money compared to my company. Because Hollywood's cheap compared to my company, man. And Hollywood doesn't have the kind of budgets that I have. The Hollywood companies don't have the kind of money that me and VJ have. Me and VJ are going to be the bank, man. We're funding the movie ourselves, cash. Whereas in Hollywood, they have to take loans from the banks. Whereas me and VJ, we don't have to take a loan. We can take loans if we want, but there's no point of wasting time taking a loan when we have the keys. You don't have to worry about losing money. There's a saying, never fund your movie yourself. Obviously, but I and VJ are the exception because we have the keys. We don't have to worry about that. We'll make our money. As long as we price our series well, we will make our money back. See what I'm saying? I told you, even though we have the keys, we have to be careful. Anything over $1 billion, you're now being sued with your money. See what I'm saying? If I made a movie for $1.5 billion, I would have to price my series for like $300 to be profitable. And the moment you price your series for $300, that's pricey. As a lot of people in the world, $300 is a big cut on a lot of people's budget. Hence why Zanus will be the most expensive movie out of all my movies. Zanus will probably be like $170, which is reasonable, obviously. I wanna make a profit, but a nice profit. At the same time, I want to make it as affordable as I can for most of the world. As I'll never sell a series for like $400. No, that's a lot of money. A lot of people can't afford that. And if they do, it's a big cut in the budget. Hence why $169.99 is reasonable, obviously, for Zanus. The posters I'll sell for, I don't know, $130. And all my other movies will all be under $100. Or I'll be like, my organization I'll sell for like 80, $90. That's affordable. Very unique, I'll sell for like $65, $70. See what I'm saying? Here? So even though it's pricey, even though it's pricey is affordable, yes, I'm making it affordable for everyone around the world. Because that's how nice I am, obviously. Yeah. Right. Yeah. My movies will be expensive because I'm not releasing my movies on theaters. I am what? I am releasing it on 4K Blu-ray. 4K Blu-ray, if you want to make a profit, you have to price it well. Don't forget Amazon's taking 40% of the pie, hence I want to make a nice 60%. Don't forget that. Same time I pour $980 million towards Zanus. You also have Peter Jackson's money or Mel Gibson's money. That's not part of the budget, but like if you include Peter Jackson's salary and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's around, you're looking at almost about $1.1 billion. You see what I'm saying here? And you also have the money I invested, like I don't know, the 80 million I invested towards the buildings. That doesn't count towards the salary because that's an investment for the future. The jets and all that stuff that doesn't count because that's our own personal stuff, obviously. But we invest a lot. My point is, we invest a lot of money. We need to make our money back. And we will make our money back. A nice like 2.5 billion we're going to make in profit. Even 3 billion in profit we'll make. 2 billion. We'll make a good, I don't know, 3 billion to 2 billion, 2.5 billion in profit. Which is nice. Good investment, obviously. Ivan VJ poured $1 billion for Zanus. They still made a nice profit. Yeah, we made a nice like $2.5 billion in profit from the movies and posters. 3 billion in profit, and so we made nice money, obviously. So we had $9 billion in our bank. We invested 980, obviously, and then after the release movies and posters, me and VJ now have what? 11 million in our bank, 12 million in our bank, and it was a good investment, obviously. See what I'm saying? That's why I'm not paying my top the script developers any more than how much I'm willing to pay them. Like, even though me and VJ can easily afford to pay Jon Favreau even a $40-50 million bonus out of our pocket, you don't want to be stupid as what? You don't want to be stupid as he's ripping you off. He's not worth a $50 million signing bonus. He's only worth $100 million. See what I'm saying? If I were to hire Peter Jackson as full-time for my company, Peter Jackson will be worth that like $50-60 million signing bonus. Because he's fucking big. Even $7 million signing bonus he's worth. But I told you, I don't want Peter Jackson will just cost me too much money. And at the same time, the guy isn't getting any younger. He's a little older. He's 60 years old. I want people who are younger. People who are in their 50s, early 50s, mid 50s, little young 40s. I don't want people who are like 60. No. Okay. I'm also gonna put a rule for the secretaries. I'm gonna tell them you have to be between the age of 35 to like 55 to work. If you're older than 55, you're out, man. I don't want secretaries who are 70 years old to work for my company. I'm going to have a rule. You have to be between the age of 35 to 50, 55 for the secretaries and the other 5 too. 55, you're still good. You're still pretty young. 50 years old, you're young. 45, you're young. It's like if the moment you hit 60, you're now getting old. I don't want people who are 60 years old work for my company. You see what I'm saying here? I'm going to put that rule. You have to be between the age of 35. Chances are the secretaries will be in their mid-40s. Because I'm hiring experienced secretaries. So chances are the secretaries who are going to work for my company are going to be in their 40s or mid-40s, early 40s, maybe even early 50s. The other 5 are probably going to be in their early 50s, mid-40s, around there. Because I'm hiring all experienced people. And if you're experienced secretary or accountant, chances are you're in your 40s. Your mid-40s around there. You see what I'm saying here? And you have to have worked for the Big 5. If you have not worked for the Big 5, you're out. You can't work for my company, obviously. I want 2 secretaries who worked for Disney, Warner Bros., Paramount, Fox, and what? And Warner Bros. See what I'm saying here? Narrow it down to the top 5. That way, what? I mean, me and VJ only have to look at a couple hundred resumes. And the script developers have to work for the top big 5 companies too. Alright, so Rian Johnson did Last Jedi. He worked for Disney, obviously. Right? J.J. Abrams did Star Wars, and he did what? He did Star Trek. He works for the big five companies too, obviously. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni did Mandalorian, and that's Disney, obviously. Like Lucasfilm is Mandalorian, but Lucasfilm is owned by Disney. Like, see what I'm saying? Jon Favreau did Lion King. He did what? That's all Disney, obviously. He worked for Disney, obviously. Right. Dave Filoni doesn't have as good of a resume, but he did Mandalorian. He did Mandalorian, and Mandalorian is what? Mandalorian is what? Is owned by Disney. See what I'm saying? Disney owns Mandalorian. Ryan Coogler did Black Panther. Disney, obviously, right? Yeah. He qualifies, obviously. Oh. Yeah. Hence why what? As Ryan Coogler is also a top candidate, too, for me in my list. I'm going to tell you, hey, man, Ryan Coogler did Black Panther. He's a perfect candidate for my what? He's a perfect candidate for my script developer and co-executive producer. And I'll pay him like $14.7 million and like a $2.1 million year. So that's a good deal. $14.7 million is like $10.4 million in your bank, whatever it is. Before he starts work for each movie, he gets a fat $10.4 million in his bank. Ryan Coogler will make a good, I don't know, $70 million, $80 million working during the 20 years. He's walking away with what? $48 million. Ryan Johnson will make a good, I don't know, $50 million after taxes during the 20 years, which is a nice deal. And he gets like a $3.5 million retirement. He gets his nice perks, $250,000 royalty check, all that stuff. As in Hollywood, he probably only makes a couple $1 million per movie. $2 million. He probably only got like $2 million, $3 million for Black Panther. Make probably $2, $3, $5 million for what? Maybe $10 million for maybe $8 million for Black Panther 2. You see what I'm saying? As Hollywood, I told you, was cheap. Because most people on average get like a couple $1 million, man. So Hollywood's cheap. Yeah, man. That's how it works in Hollywood, man. There's only the rarity who can bargain for a lot. But even like on average, they get shittier money. See what I'm saying? As Hollywood can't compete with my company. My company competes with Hollywood even in salaries. Easily competes. Yeah, Ivan. Yes, my company easily competes with Hollywood in salaries. As for all my movies, I have such big budgets I can pay 3 big A-listers unheard of money. At the same time, I can afford to what? Pay like 5 small A-listers like a rich 9, 10, 11 million. Hollywood can afford to do that. Hollywood can only afford to have like 2 guys make like 17, 12. And everyone else gets shittier money, like $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. I'm saying because they can't afford to pay. Because how you have to have balance, you have to pay the big guys a lot of money, like 2 people. Everyone else should pay less because Hollywood doesn't have the kind of salary budgets that I have. The amount of money my salary budgets for my movie is more money than even how much movies are made for as a whole in Hollywood. That's why my company blows Hollywood out of water, man. That's why my company blows Hollywood out of water. Yeah. For organization movie, I am putting $300 million. I'll put a bit more. I'll make it for $700 million. I'll put $320 million towards salary just in case, and I'll put $380 towards the movie. So I'll put $320 towards salaries just in case. I have to pay my 17 and $380 million towards the movie. So I'm doing the math, and I'm gonna have a lot of money. I'm gonna have probably like $40 million left over in the Great Escape movie, and so hence why I can put a bit of money towards salary. $320 million towards salaries, and $380 million towards the movie, and hence why it'll blow. Yeah. Whereas James Bond was made for $250 million as a whole, and I'm putting $320 million towards salaries alone. My salary budget is even bigger than how much the whole budget of James Bond was made for, man. And the amount of money I'm putting towards CGI technology is the amount of money that the whole movie was made for. That's what my company will blow out of the water. Yeah, blow it out of the water, man. Skyscraper is the biggest film brand in business. Yeah, man. That's why Ben Affleck, Paul Bettany, and Keanu Reeves will be shocked. Even those guys are big actors. They've been in big movies. Keanu Reeves did Matrix. Scarlett Johansson did Marvel, right? Ben Affleck did Justice League. These are all big budget movies. And even these guys, once they see the organization, they're like, holy shit. This is better than Hollywood. This is better than Justice League. This is better than Matrix. This is better than Avengers. Yeah. Avengers is only made for $300 million. And I'm putting $700 million, double the budget for my Great Escape movie. I should look at something unheard of. Yeah, man. It must have been crazy. Yeah, check my calendar here.